For the past 3 months, I've been obsessed with one question. Why do some meme coin traders consistently make life-changing money while others keep losing? So I did something that nobody else has done before. I tracked and analyzed over 1,000 active and profitable wallets trading meme coins. As you can see on screen, I've tracked wallets that have turned $70 into $50,000, $200 into $200,000, and even $500 into millions of dollars. And you can see a bunch more screenshots on screen. Now, after analyzing every single trade, every entry, every exit, I found something incredible. These wallets all follow similar patterns. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what I discovered. And the best part, you don't need expensive tools. You don't need huge capital. And most importantly, you do not need years of trading experience to copy exactly what they do so you can get similar results that they do. Now, before I reveal everything, let me show you proof that this actually works. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Nabs. I've been in the meme coin space only since the beginning of 2024. But if you look at my track record, just in the past month alone, using these exact patterns I discovered, I've helped so many people catch 5x's, 10x's, 20x's, 50x's. And I've been doing this since the beginning of 2024. I mean, we even had a client who turned 35 euros into 40,000 euros just in a few months. We had someone turn 2 SOL into 20 SOL in under 24 hours. And that's purely off of what I'm going to show you in this video. Now, here's exactly what I'm going to cover. The 2 main entry patterns every successful wallet uses, their exact position sizing strategy, their secret to timing perfect exits, and the system I use to find wallets worth copy trading. Let's get into it. Number 1, entry patterns. There are 2 entry patterns that I see most successful wallets stick by, and you've probably seen me speak about these in previous videos. Number 1 is the reversal pattern. Now, everyone, in fact, 99.9% of people get this wrong. The reason I say this is because I see it with my own eyes. I see it with my own members. I see it with my own friends. Sometimes I almost fall for this trick, but because I've analyzed these wallets, I know not to fall for it anymore. But it's where you try and catch a reversal, but it's actually a fake out and it ends up dumping on you, using you as exit liquidity. And what tends to happen is the people who try to get into the actual reversals miss the actual reversals because they don't know what a reversal confirmation is. The difference between you and these wallets that I've tracked is most of them know when a coin is actually going to reverse versus when it just seems like it might reverse and then it just dumps all the way to 0. Now, in case you're wondering what I mean, first and foremost, there's a video that's going to be somewhere in the top right corner showing you exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm going to break it down a little bit inside of this video. So when you see a coin dump, let's say 70 or maybe even 60% from the top, there's a likelihood that it could reverse if you see some sort of reversal. However, once they see a bit of a green candle, most people assume that, oh, it might reverse now because it's retraced like 60, 70, 75% based off what I said in the last videos. But that's not how it works. In fact, what you need to look out for is the second reversal. That's what's called a reversal confirmation. It's where the chart goes all the way up to all-time high, retraces about 60 to 70 to 75%, and then reverses a little bit, comes back down, and basically fakes that it's going to just continue dumping because most of the newbies are used to it dumping, so they all sell, and then it won't actually create a lower low, it'll create a higher high, and then it will go up and it will start reversing. That's exactly how a reversal works. Now, that's a bit of source for you based on the entry patterns that I've analyzed in these wallets. The second entry pattern that I see most of these wallets stick by is getting in as early as possible. In other words, sniping. The difference between you and these wallets is they have access to certain resources that you don't, right? And I'm going to give you a couple of examples that I've noticed. One is, of course, network, people around them. You will never find a successful trader in this space, and I can guarantee you, I can even put money on it, that trades alone and has no friends in the space. No one has no friends in the space that is doing well. And that's why you see so many alpha communities or normal communities being built up, and you see a lot of these meme coin traders that are doing well tend to be friends with each other. Why? Because they help each other make money. And that's why I'm part of many communities, and I even have a community of my own because I know the value of having a community. Because let's say, for example, you're not active or you're not looking at your phone, or you might even be sitting on the toilet and you miss something on your screen, at least you have someone looking at it while you're not. If you have friends that can call you, say, listen, Trump coin just launched, buy in now, you're going to buy in because you trust that friend. But if you're relying on you and you only, you're not not going to succeed. And that's what the difference is between you and a lot of these successful traders. Now that's only half of it. The second half to, being able to get in early is by being able to snipe. Now a lot of these wallets get in extremely early, like earlier than what's possible if you were using a normal bot like BullX or Trojan or whatever these bots are on Telegram. They use an actual software, and I'm talking software like DSnipe, for example. That's the software I use in order to get into tokens literally as early as you possibly can. I'm talking within the first couple of seconds of a token launching. Now, the reason why the normal bots that you use on Telegram can't actually replicate these sort of entries is because what the sniper bot will do that those bots can't is it will spam a transaction to try get into the coin before it even exists. Now you're probably wondering, how on earth can it do that? Well, because you can actually identify a token without the token address. All you need is either a market ID or a pool ID. Once you have one of those, the sniper bot, again, it's a software, will actually spam the blockchain every 0.2 seconds before the token even launches, and it's going to fail every single transaction. You're not going to be charged a fee, but it's going to fail every single transaction. But as soon as the coin launches, it will get you in. Now, hopefully it's starting to make sense why early in the video I said there was someone who literally turned $200 into $200,000, right? Someone who turned $70 into $50,000. It's because they're sniping. These results don't exist without being able to snipe. And you're probably wondering, well, if they snipe, why didn't they put in $7,000 or $700? Because the thing is with sniping, it's very high risk, high reward, right? Where it's like 1 in every 10 coins actually run, but the runs end up being big wins. And you got to think about it sometimes, right? If you put in $50 into 10 coins and 9 of them are losses, that's $450 lost. But then if that one trade does a 100x, you've literally just made $5,000, which is like $4,500 profit because of what you've lost. So it's a win-win situation. Regardless of how many times you lose, you know you're going to get a win by the end of it. And that's exactly why I got into sniping alongside copy trading. Now, going back to the bot that I mentioned earlier, if you actually want to get into sniping, I left a link in the description showing you the bot that I personally use. It is application only, so no guarantee that you'll be accepted, but maybe it's worth a try. Now on to number 2, position management. How do these profitable traders know exactly what to put in to what coin? Well, I'm going to tell you what majority of traders do and what I do in particular as well. The way I like to think about it is you need to separate types of meme coins into 2 segments: gambles and conviction plays. That's what most of these profitable traders do. And I'll explain why they do this. Because when I've tracked these successful wallets, they all have a common pattern in the way they buy certain meme coins. The way they buy gambles are not the way they buy conviction coins. And in case you're wondering what a conviction and what a gamble is something that they don't really have much confidence in. They don't know whether it's going to run, but there's a chance that it could. Whereas a conviction play is something where it's like, yeah, I know this is going to run. I know that even if I hold this for 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, eventually it's going to do a 2, 3, 5, 10, 20x. That's why you see some of these profitable traders actually hold on to tokens for quite some time before they actually see some sort of profit. It's because it's a conviction play. But there's ways that they manage their positions in each segment. One is that with each one, they have a threshold on what they put in. I'll give you an example. There's a wallet that I copy trade, and I know for a fact that every single time he buys a token worth 10 SOL, it's a gamble. Because every single gamble, he puts in 10 SOL or less. So I know it's a gamble. Whereas with the conviction plays, he will always put more than 10 SOL. 5 SOL or 50 SOL or 40 SOL, leads on to the question like, why is he putting random numbers? Which I'll get onto in a second. But with gambles, you'll notice that all these profitable traders have a maximum threshold on what they put into these tokens. You will never see a trader put 100 SOL into a gamble unless they're stupid and they don't actually know what they're doing, or they mistaken it for a conviction play when it was actually a gamble, or they got some sort of alpha. But most profitable traders know exactly what a gamble looks like and know exactly what a conviction play looks like, so they differentiate the amount they put into each one, and they tend to have a threshold. So if you're listening to this and you've got, let's say, $10,000 or even $5,000, pick a certain amount, and I mean percentage, and I personally recommend anywhere between 2 to 5% maximum to put into something like gamble plays. Whereas with conviction plays, you can probably put anywhere between 5 to 15%, sometimes even 20%, depending on how much conviction you have. If you saw Trump coin at $1 billion market cap, which is an insane market cap for most meme coins, you would have probably still put, 10, 20% of your portfolio, because you can trust that it's going to go to 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 billion. It's a conviction play. And that's why you'd see, in fact, the amount of wallets that I found to copy trade when a Trump token came out is insane. And most of them put 300 SOL, 500 SOL, 1,000 SOL and more into the Trump coin because they knew it was a conviction play. But you'd never see them put it into a gamble. So take that on board. Now, the next thing, how do you know how much to put in? I'll be real with you. You don't. There's no set holy grail amount that you need to put into each and every single coin. It's based on your circumstances. If you have $1,000, you're not going to put $200 into each coin just because someone else did. Whereas they might actually have have $10,000. Remember, it's based on percentages of your portfolio. If you have $10,000, whether you have $100,000, just put 2 to 5% on a gamble and 5 to 15% if it's a conviction play. Now, you're probably wondering, how do I decide between the two? Is it 5%? Is it 15%? Is it 10%? If you've got a lot of conviction, put 15%. If you've got low conviction, but you still have confidence, put 5%. Simple as. Now, number 3 is, how do they time perfect exits? And I mean, how do they know when to take initials? How do they know when to take profits? And how do they cut losses? And I'm gonna go over exactly what I found out when analyzing these wallets. So first and foremost, most importantly, let's go over how to actually take initials. And I knew this from the get-go. I always say this in my videos. Take initials between 50 to 100%, if not max 150% if it's a really good conviction play. But always take your initials. I don't care if it's a Trump coin. I don't care if Cristiano Ronaldo releases a coin. Do not keep your initials in any more than 150% because that's your actual money. That's hard-earned money. You want to be able to make free money. And the way you make free money is by taking out your initials and let it play out. Let it do its thing. That removes the anxiety. That removes the pressure off your shoulders, where you're no longer worried if you lose because you're not losing any of your initial capital. Now, of course, you still need to be aggressive when it comes to taking profit, which I'll go on to next. But making sure you take initials allows you to take responsibility in not blowing any of your accounts. The amount of people I see blowing their accounts, going from $1,000 to like $200 or $10,000 to $2,000 just because they don't know how to take initials and they get greedy. Listen, if you're gonna trade meme coins, make sure you take initials or don't trade at all. Now, how do you actually take profit like these successful traders? There's a couple of ways you can go about doing this. And I'm gonna tell you my personal way because in fact, the way I do it is mostly the same as how they do it. After you take initials, you want to take profit on the way up. You never want to take 100% of your profits unless you've got a really small account and profit really helps. You really want to maximize the amount of profit you can make. Because how many times have you traded a meme coin, you took full profit and it did another 2, 3, 5, or even 10x. And you're like, oh my God, I should have kept my money in. The solution to that is to take profits on the way up, because that way you're not only taking a bit out, but you're leaving some in. And it's like, regardless of what happens, you're profiting at the end of the day. Remember, it is player versus player, unfortunately. So if you don't take profit, someone else will, and you're gonna end up losing. So you may as well take some of the profit and still give yourself a chance to make more. So I'll give you an example. What I would usually do is after I take initials at, let's say 100%, I would wait for the coin to go to like 200%, take 20% out. And then I like to play in doubles. So from 200%, I'll wait for it to go to 400%, I'll take another 20%. Wait for it to go 400% to 800%, take another 20% out. And then it just literally goes on like that until I see a change in pattern. Now that's really important because when you see a change in pattern, and by change in pattern, I mean, you know about the simple uptrends and downtrends, right? The staircase formation that I've mentioned in other videos. If you see an uptrend, then turn into a downtrend, you now know, okay, I should start taking profits a lot more aggressive for 2 reasons. 1, in case it just dumps and goes to 0 now and you want to make the most out of your money. But 2, if it does end up reversing, you can actually get a better position by reinvesting a lot lower. So that's why whenever a lot of these wallets actually see a reversal, when it's an uptrend and it goes into a downtrend, they will take out a lot of their profits and they'll reinvest it at the bottom when there's a reversal. And last but not least, when it comes to perfecting your exit strategy, is how to cut losses. Now, if taking initials wasn't the most important, cutting losses probably would be. Well, in fact, taking profit is probably just as important as well. But cutting losses is what will stop you from blowing your account, and it also builds discipline. You know that devil on your shoulder that's always telling you, oh, it's gonna reverse, it's gonna reverse, it's gonna reverse. You need to stop listening to it. In fact, you need to know how to stop listening to it or when to not listen to it. And I'll be honest, even some of the best traders still do this, but then again, it's because they've got so much money to play with that they've become nonchalant, right? They don't really care if they lose a bit of money here and there. But if you're not really on that level where you're trading with hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, you need to be cutting losses. Otherwise, you're spreading yourself thin. Now, how do you cut losses? Generally, you want to cut losses anywhere between 20 to 40%. The reason being is because if you cut losses below 20%, you're not giving yourself enough room for it to potentially reverse. And then if you're cutting losses above 40%, you're just losing too much. And by the time it's gone to minus 40% and above, it's probably not going to reverse unless you've made the great mistake of buying the top, which leads me on to my next point. You should never buy the top. If you do buy the top, you should probably expect a dip of like 60 to 70% before it potentially can reverse. Now, as I said earlier, usually when a coin tops out and then it reverses, it's after it drops like 60 to 75%. So always hold yourself back from actually buying the top. What you should do is wait for a dip, even if it's just a small one, and then you buy in. Because then if it continues dipping, at least you can stick to your cut lossing strategy. Because think about it, if a coin dips, let's say 30%, and then you buy in, it only needs to dip another 30% before it reverses. And if you're gonna cut losses at, let's say 35% or 40%, you have the chance to catch that reversal. Now, if you don't know how to properly catch reversals, universals on what to look out for, I'll put a video somewhere on the screen and then you can click on it and watch it after. But stick around because I'm going to show you exactly what the research process and how I actually found these wallets in the first place. So let's get into it. How I find these wallets is using two tools. One is Bullx Neo. Now, the reason I use Bullx Neo is just because it's pretty self-explanatory on how to actually find these wallets, and you can actually label them as well. And the beauty about labeling them is once you label them and they buy a token that you're looking at, it will actually show you the symbol of, oh, this person just bought this token or this person just sold this token, which I personally think is a very valuable tool. The reason I don't use something like Dex Screener or whatever other platform there is because Dex Screener can be quite slow. Right? By the time a token, drops by, let's say 10K or 20K market cap, Dex Screener is only updating me like 10 seconds later. I need real-time data. And Bullx Neo has been the best one for me. Now, when you go into Bullx Neo, you can go into any coin, but personally for me, I recommend going onto the most recent coins that have done well. The reason being is because you want to find profitable wallets, but you want to also make sure that they're active. If you go into old tokens, you're probably going to find great wallets that have achieved great results, but they're probably not active anymore. Because the thing is, when you copy trade a wallet, or in fact, when a wallet gets copy traded by many people, they actually realize and they tend to change their wallet to another wallet. And the last thing you want is for you to find a crazy wallet that has then changed to another wallet and you just wasted all your time for no reason. So go into Bullx Neo, go into the recent coins that have launched within the past 24 hours and have done well, and go to top traders and find ones that have done well. Now, things to look out for. Personally, for me, what I recommend is look for someone who actually, one, has capital, two, has actually gotten an insane result. And by insane, I mean anywhere between a 5 to maybe, let's say 10, 20, 30x. And once you check their track record, they've actually done it more than once. Now, I'll explain why those three reasons. One, the reason why you want to find someone with a lot of capital is because it shows the kind of person they are and where they've come to. Because if you find someone who is only copy trading, let's say $200, $500 or $1,000, I mean a portfolio size of that amount, then clearly they haven't made much money in the space if they're only trading with that amount. Whereas if you're copy trading someone who has $200, $400, $500,000, that means they've made a lot of money in the space, or at least they have a lot of money. And no one that hasn't been in the space will risk that sort of money in a space that they don't understand. So clearly they know what they're doing. And then of course, the reason why you want to copy someone who has done it more than once is pretty obvious, right? You don't want to copy someone who got lucky on that one coin. You want to be able to copy someone that can do this periodically, every single week, every single other day. Now, in regards to what kind of wallet you want to find, you want to base it on the strategy that you're looking for. Now, what I mean by that is you want to find someone that suits the strategy that you're looking for. So if you're someone who really needs to build up capital quick, find someone who's actively in the meme coin trenches. They're trading every single day. They're trying to build up capital as quick as possible. And they take profit aggressively. That's the kind of person you want to copy trade. However, if you're someone who's a bit more safe, you want to just invest your money into a few coins, hold it for, let's say 2, 3, 4 weeks, find a long-term trader. Now, obviously that's going to go against what I said to you earlier, which is find coins in the last 24 hours. Instead, you want to find coins that have been around for a couple of weeks. You want to go into the holders and look at the top holders and see how much profit they've made so far. And you'll see that there are some people who've held on to that coin for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And you need to think about what actually goes in to them being able to hold it for that long. One is conviction. Two is knowledge. They know something that you don't, or that a lot of people don't, hence why they've held it for that long. And three is they actually know what they're doing, because if they held it for that long and made a lot of profit, then clearly they know what they're doing for other coins as well, and you can do exactly that. So whenever you see that they bought a coin and they're planning to hold it long term, you can get into that as well. Now, in regards to how I actually analyze the tokens, I don't analyze them directly on Bullx. I actually use a website called Cello, or Cielo, however you pronounce it. Now, the reasons behind why I use that and not something like GMGN is for two reasons. One is I like to pay for stuff because I know that I've got exclusive access to something that most people don't. The thing is with GMGN or a lot of these other free tools is because they're free, everyone uses them. Whereas in this market, you need to be part of the 1% rather than a 99% in order for you to succeed, right? So I like to differentiate myself from others. I like to separate myself, and by that, I like to pay for things. Now, if you can't pay for things, of course, you can use the free version, or you can go and use something like GMGN. Now, the second reason I use Cello is because I can actually get notified when one of the wallets buy or sell. Now, you can link Cello to your Telegram and basically have a chat with Cello where anytime one of the wallets buys or sells, it will tell you. And you can even set certain filters. So for example, as I was telling you earlier, if you don't want to look at any trades that are below 10 sold, you can set that and it will tell you all the trades that are done above 10 sold. And I find that really useful because I trade with a lot of capital, and I want to be holding stuff that long term and that people actually have conviction in. So there you have it. The exact patterns I discovered from studying over 1,000 profitable wallets. But here's the thing, what I've shared today is just the surface level. If you want to actually learn how to implement everything I've shown you today, there's a link in the description that goes into my free Telegram group where I'll reveal exactly what I do to find the best wallets, the exact wallet tracking system I use from A to Z, and then also my full implementation framework on actually copy trading. And again, if you go got any questions, you can also reach out to me on Telegram once you join that group. Now, if you like this video and want to tell the YouTube algorithm to show you more, hit subscribe and I will see you in the next one. Take care.